Hello, CSU Bakersfield fans, and welcome to the second in our series of Zoom interviews as part of our countdown to joining the Big West Conference on July 1st. These interviews have given us a chance to sit down with some of our greatest roadrunners and speak with them about their experiences as student athletes, how their time at CSUB has shaped their lives, and of course their roles in some of the bigger moments in Bakersfield athletic history. Tonight we're joined by CSUB swimmer Loni Burton, who competed on the Roadrunner swim team from 2003 to 2005 under the maiden name of Loni Burton. Loni remains one of the most successful swimmers in program history and arguably one of our most successful athletes in CSUB history. In 3 seasons in Bakersfield, Loni won 12 individual national titles, was a 3-time All-American, and a 3-time NCAA Division II Swimmer of the Year. She still holds school records in the 50, 100, and 200 freestyles and boasts more individual wins than any swimming student athlete in program history. Loni, thank you for joining us today. How are you?
Thank you. I'm really good. Wow, when you say it like that, it sounds like a lot.
It really was quite a career at CSUB for you. But before we get started, let's take a moment. Can you tell us what you're up to now and what you've been doing since graduating?
Well, right now I am a first grade teacher in the Campbell Union School District up here in Northern California in Santa Clara County. I teach first grade. It's my first year of teaching. But before that, I kind of just dabbled in a bunch of different things and then took some time off to be a mom. I have 2 daughters. I have a 10-year-old. She's almost 11. She'll be 11 in 2 weeks. And I have a 7-year-old daughter. So I took some time off to be a mom and be with them and raise them. And then it was time to figure out what I really wanted to do with my life. And teaching has always been a passion. So I took the teaching route.
That's great. Congratulations. First grade would be a lot of fun to teach. What a great age.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun. It's an adventure every day.
Yeah, I'm sure you can really see their growth. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Regarding your time at CSUB, you were here in Bakersfield for 3 seasons. Just your general reflections on your time in Bakersfield, how it affected you and how it's helped you over the course of your life since.
My time at Bakersfield is the most memorable time. I made friends that I am still friends with today. They're lifetime friends. I was able to navigate myself as an adult and figure out what I wanted from my life. And the teachers at Bakersfield were so great at guiding students. I did go to UC Berkeley for a year and it didn't work out. The class sizes at Bakersfield allowed for a lot more interaction with the professors, and that really helped me and shaped me and helped me figure out where I wanted to go with my life. And just the memories I have of the team and my friends that I made there. I mean, I still am in contact with all of them.
It's wonderful. You mentioned starting your career at CSU, or UC Berkeley, excuse me. How did you get started in the sport of swimming? I understand your father was an Olympic gold medalist. He must have been a big influence in you picking up the sport. Can you talk about your origins in swimming?
Yeah. So of course my dad, Mike Burton, was a 3-time gold medalist. My mom was also an amazing swimmer in her own right. She was a national champion as well. So swimming was just my life. There's the joke in my family that I could swim before I could walk, and all of my memories surround swimming pools. But there was never any pressure from my parents to be a swimmer. It was never something that they forced me to do or said, this is what our family does. They let me figure it out on my own. I didn't really start competing until I was about 9 or 10 years old when we moved to California. But then even with that, I still danced and ran track and did other things. And it wasn't until I was about 14 that my coach said, it's time to make a choice. You can't be missing practices every day. And I think that's when my passion just really ignited for the sport. And I really found my place.
What is it like being a swimmer at that age? When I think of swimming, I think of a lot of hard work, early hours at the pool, probably a lot of sacrifices.
Yeah, it's a lot. When I really started to blossom as a swimmer, I was in what our team called the national group, but I was only in 8th grade and everyone else was in high school. So that was tough because they all had the high school experiences in high school swimming, and I was just a little 8th grader and I was trying to keep up with them. And so it taught me how to navigate other people and how to just, balance my life, because with swimming, there was morning practices, then we'd go to school all day, and then we'd have afternoon practices, and we had to find time to get the schoolwork done. And so it definitely helped me figure out how to be better at time management at a very early age.
There's a lot of work to make it to this level. You started your career at UC Berkeley. You transferred to CSU Bakersfield to start your sophomore season in 2002, 2003. What was that path that brought you to Bakersfield? What made this the place you wanted to continue your career?
This was something that I think about a lot. So I did go to UC Berkeley, and I was on a scholarship there, and I had a shoulder injury, and I just lost the passion. I completely lost the passion for the sport. Rehabbing my shoulder was taking up more time than being in the pool and in the classroom, and it just became too overwhelming for me. So I decided to take a step back and say, I'm done. I'm not going to swim anymore. And I moved to Santa Cruz and decided I'm just going to figure out who I am and live and work and figure out my life. And then I think it was around January or February of 2002, Pat Skian, the coach at the time at Bakersfield, she called me and she said, hey, we'd really like you to come and swim for us at Bakersfield. And I kind of laughed and I said, I haven't swam in 3 years. Why do you want me down there? My brother, Eric Burton, had already started swimming for Bakersfield. And so I'm sure he did some talking up. And I said, sure, let's try it out. Let's see if this will work. And so I actually didn't join the team until December of 2002. I flew down and met them on their December holiday training trip. And that was my introduction to the team. They didn't know who I was. I didn't know who they were. And all of a sudden I was just kind of thrown into this community, and they welcomed me with open arms.
That's wonderful. That's a great story. Not everyone's time frame is the same, certainly. So
Yeah.
Sounds like it worked out, though. When you did get to Bakersfield, you talk about having lost that passion in swimming when you left Cal. Did you find it right away? Was it a process? How did that work?
Well, I wouldn't say that I found it right away. I think it took some time for me mentally to find it again, but then the team did such an amazing job of welcoming me and letting me know that they were there for me, and that welcomed me into the CSUB Roadrunner family without any question of what had happened before or where I came from. They were just excited that I was willing to give it a shot. And Pat and I sat down for a really long time and we talked about what I was looking for. And I told her, I've been swimming for a long time and it got too much for me. I need to find a place where I can still work hard, but it can be fun. I need the fun back in the swimming. And she did an amazing job of making sure that fun came back into my life. And I don't think I could have found the passion without Pat and the other girls on the team.
When you did start swimming for the Roadrunners, you did have immediate success. That first year you won 4 individual national titles, the 50, the 100, the 200, and the 200 fly, and you were the D2 Swimmer of the Year. After having taken so much time off, what were your expectations coming in to swim that season, and were you surprised at all by the success you had?
I was definitely surprised by it. Going in my first season, I didn't have very high expectations. I wanted to swim well, and I wanted to swim hard, and I wanted to enjoy myself, but I didn't have these grand expectations. And when I swam, I think one of the first races, I think I was 3rd or 4th in the prelims going into finals, and I was like, oh, that's good. This will be fine. And then I won that first race, and I was shocked, and I was just blown away that the hard work that I had put in such a short period of time showed such success right away. So it was not at all expected.
Just a quick tangent, but being new to swimming, at least on a daily basis, the one thing that I've noticed is how grueling a weekend of a championship can be. Swimming, competitive races every day, and it's a championship show, so it's everything you have. How do you manage a weekend like that where you have to race 4 times and you have to be at your best every time?
Yeah, that takes a lot of mental focus. I remembered my schedule. The first day would be the first day was the 50 free, and then the second day was the 200 free and 100 fly, and then the last day was the 100 free. So I could kind of compartmentalize the days, say, okay, today I'm just going to focus on the 50 free. I'm not going to worry about what's going to happen the rest of the week. Let's just focus on this, and then after that, we can move on to the next one. I think the hardest part for me was the day of the 200 free 100 fly, because those events, for whatever reason that I chose them, they're back-to-back events. So I would have about 15, 20 minutes between the races. So that took a lot more mental toughness. But I think the more you can just separate each event and just look at them individually helps to not make the swim meet feel as long as it is.
That's interesting. Thank you for that. After that first season, when you did win 4 national titles, you were the D2 Swimmer of the Year. Does that change your expectation now for the rest of your career? Does that create a pressure to live up to in future seasons?
It was a pressure that I put on myself. It was definitely not a pressure put on me by Pat or the girls or even my family. I looked at it as, wow, I did it once, I can do it again. But it also ignited my passion a little bit more that, this is fun. I'm with people who I enjoy being with, and we're working hard and we're living a life together. And so I set those expectations higher, but it also allowed me to set some goals that I didn't think I would ever be able to set again.
And obviously, you did carry over that success to the rest of your career. You won 4 more individual titles in 2004, 4 more individual titles in 2005. But I want to ask you about one title in particular, and that's your relay national title. Swimming is a team sport at the college level, but also such an individual sport. How do things change when you're swimming as part of a relay? And what does it mean to win a national title with your teammates?
That is probably one of my most coveted awards. Being part of a relay team is just probably the highlight of a swim meet. It's 4 of you, and you rely on each other, and you know that you're going to get through it together. And there's a bond that comes when you're on a relay team with someone. And when that relay team becomes national champions, that's a bond that we will always have together. Swimming is pretty much individualized, but the points all add up together. But the girls at CSUB are such a tight-knit group, regardless of it being individual or not. But the relays just make the sport so much more fun. Relays are fun.
No, I would agree with that. It's great to hear you say how close the team was when you were swimming. I've definitely noticed that about the team, both of the teams and the teams together, the men and women, how much they support each other now. Mm-hmm. And certainly that support is evident when people are swimming relays, not just with the swimmers in the water, but the rest of the team and the excitement they have just watching a relay. Notable to me. Stay on the topic of team swimming and team competition. Your success at CSUB was certainly noteworthy, and you had a lot of outstanding performances, but you weren't the only All-American on those teams. You swam with a number of All-Americans during your career. Can you talk about that era of CSUB swimming, what you guys were able to accomplish, and what it was like to be on a team that was so competitive on a national level?
It was exciting because it felt like something was building. It felt like the team was starting to see its potential and its growth. And it was just so exciting every day to get in the pool with those girls and swim and laugh and really work as hard as we can, because we all knew that that potential was there and that we were growing. And the girls that I trained with and that I traveled with and went to nationals and conference and everything, these are girls that I still talk to almost on a daily basis. So it shaped, I think it shaped what CSUB swimming is today. Just we saw the potential and it just made us work even harder.
That's terrific. It must have been a lot of fun to be a part of teams like that.
Yeah.
Getting back to you in your swimming career, much of your success came in the shorter freestyle events. Was that always, the swimmer that you were? Were those your events that you like to focus on? And why did you enjoy those events? Do you have a favorite of the three?
So much to the dismay of my father, who was a distance freestyle swimmer. Yeah, throughout my career, the 100 fly and the 200 free have always been my events, I call them. Even in high school, those are the events that I swam in our Central Coast Conference championships, and I was able to win those 3 years in a row as well. But I also, earlier in my career, would swim the 500 and the 200 fly and events like that. But after my shoulder surgery, and when I decided I was coming back to swimming, I said, no, I'm going to pick the events that I want to swim. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, then we'll go back to what worked. But I would have to say that my favorite event is the 200 free.
How have you been able to keep tabs on CSUB swimming since you graduated, since you left? And what is it like now as an alumni to look back and see young kids still come into the program and have success in their own right?
I am in contact with Chris, the coach now. We message and I follow him and the CSUB swimming Facebook page. I'm regularly commenting and posting, and I also go to the alumni weekend meet where they compete against another team, so it's really fun to watch them swim. In 2011, a few of us, myself and two other girls from the team, went to Texas to watch them swim in the conference championships. So that was really exciting because we got to see it from the fan perspective. And we also stayed at the same hotel with them. So we decorated their doors. And so we kind of had a little bit of a, reunion flashback moment of, this is so exciting. This is what we used to go through. And now we're on the fan side of it. So yeah, I've been watching these girls and the men's team as well, just completely blossom into this amazing Division I team, and it's so exciting to see them flourish in the Division I.
Yeah, I know that means a lot to the current athletes too, to have alumni support. And both teams did have outstanding seasons this year. Both posted winning records in the dual meet season, had record-setting meets at the WAC championship. Among a number of talented swimmers on both teams, there's two standouts in the events that you used to race. Autumn Darcy was the 2020 WAC Swimmer of the Year, won WAC titles in the 100 fly and the 200 fly. And Kayla Popham was the WAC Freshman of the Year and won the 100 free and the 200 free. So how have you followed their careers and their success, and what advice would you give them going back to the success you had your first year or two at CSUB? How you were able to carry that over, not just to your university swimming, but also these two swimmers on a national and international level as well, like you did.
Yeah, I will have to say, when my 100 fly record was broken, I probably was one of the most excited persons out there. I saw that she broke that record, and I jumped up and down for her. That's what records are there for. They're meant to be broken. I mean, it's very cool to have a record that's lasting 15 years. Yes, that's great. But also, when a record gets broken, it's a big deal, and I was so excited for her. And the advice I would give them is to make sure that they remember, don't lose the fun. Don't let the pressure get too much, because if you start to really focus on the pressure and what is expected of you and what success should come next, it's really easy to get burnt out. And so just kind of stay in the moment and enjoy those moments in the pool where you're laughing so hard right before you push off the wall. Just keep those moments close to you, and they'll do great. I mean, they're just amazing swimmers. It's so fun to watch them.
That's great advice. And we'll have to keep an eye and see if Michaela can chase down some of your freestyle records over the next.
Yes, that will be exciting.
Last question. As you look back on your CSUB career and your CSUB attendance, do you have any memories of your time here or as a student athlete that just stand out and stick with you today that you think about often?
There's so many. You know, when I started swimming at CSUB, with my career at CSUB, the men's and women's team were two separate teams. But that didn't stop us from still forming one team outside of the pool. We did so many things together. The girls, we would have movie nights and just sit and hang out, and a lot of us lived together, and there's just so many memories that I can't just pick down a couple, but a lot of them just have to do with a lot of laughter and just being together and supporting each other and, you know, studying together. I mean, just so much togetherness. We joked that we'd get to class and everyone would turn and look at us because the smell of chlorine would just waft into the room, and we're like, yep, that's who we are. We just smell like chlorine no matter how much we shower. And we just, the bonds that I made, those are the memories. Traveling with them, walking through the airport and having people just think, are you basketball players? And we would have a couple of girls that are really short. We're like, no. But we just bonded, and the memories are so many that it's hard to just pinpoint one or two, but they all are with me all the time.
That's great. College is definitely a special part of anyone's life, but there is really something to be said for being part of a team and spending so much time together and just having those, you know, everyday memories that seem small at the time, but those are the ones that last.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. I really appreciate it. It was great to hear about your time at CSUB. We appreciate everything you still do for the program today, and thank you for being willing to participate in this countdown campaign to joining the new conference.
Of course, I'm honored to be a part of it. I'm so excited to see where the team is going to go and watch them continue to grow and just dominate. It's very cool to see.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.